I'm on a quest to watch all the TV shows and movies about the tales of King Arthur and his knights. Let's check out everything that came out in the 1960s. Lancelot and Guinevere is a British film from 1963. It is also known as Sword of Lancelot in the US, which is just silly since there is no emphasis at all on Lancelot's sword. This is the tragic, passionate story of Lancelot and Guinevere. The young princess is chosen to marry the older King Arthur, but secretly she has already fallen for the courageous and honorable Sir Lancelot. Many of the other Arthurian Legends characters are around, like Sir Gawain and Merlin, but really this is just here to tell us all about their doomed love and show off some cool battle scenes. This story is influenced by Sir Thomas Malory's Le Morte d'Arthur, but was really the passion project of Cornel Wilde, who co-produced it, directed it, was a co-writer, and played Lancelot. He also cast his wife as Guinevere. This is not your childhood book about Arthurian legends. It pretty much eliminates the fairy tale and replaces it with a more realistic adult interpretation of infidelity and betrayal in King Arthur's court, and the fallout of that. This has the stereotypical medieval vibe with a strong Christian influence, but is not loyal to any specific timeline. If you really love Lancelot and Guinevere, I wouldn't try to talk you out of watching it, but I've seen better versions. I like a little bit of hope in the midst of my stories about doomed love, but this was all tragedy. There is no magic, only sadness. It's 116 minutes long, rated 13+. Siege of the Saxons is also a British film from 1963. Imagine King Arthur had a daughter. Then she meets Robin Hood, and together they fight the bad guy. This is a crossover fanfic brought to life. The only familiar characters are King Arthur and Merlin. Fun fact, a lot of the costumes, props, and footage are reused from 1954's The Black Knight and the movie we just talked about, Lancelot and Guinevere. Nothing about the timeline makes sense. The Saxons are wearing strange, stereotypical Viking helmets. Who cares? This is already based on fiction. Merlin is a wise old man who probably knows a trick or two, but that's only because he's smarter than everyone else. There is a scene at a church, but no other references to religion. I went into this assuming I wouldn't like it, but was pleasantly surprised. The main two characters are delightful, and it kept my attention until the end. Good, quirky, campy movie. It's 85 minutes long, rated 13+. The Sword in the Stone is an American animated movie from 1963. This is the fantastical story of Merlin, the world's most powerful wizard, educating a young orphan, Arthur. Together they go on adventures as animals, have a wizard's duel against the mad Madam Mim, and Merlin teaches Arthur how to use his head. It's based on the novel The Once and Future King by T.H. White. Merlin mentions various times that they are in a medieval mess and in the Dark Ages, so that's clear. But with the design choices, this could be anywhere from the 5th to 15th century. No large religious influence. This movie has some problems with pacing, voice acting, and hockety-pockety-walkety-whack is not quite as catchy as Bibbidi-Boppity-Boo, but still tons of fun. This crotchety old Merlin is dear to my childhood heart, along with his equally cranky owl Archimedes. Great fun for the whole family. It's 79 minutes long, rated for all ages. Camelot is an American musical film from 1967, based on the stage musical. This movie is also based off of T.H. White's The Once and Future King, so you can think of this as a sequel to The Sword in the Stone. Our little Arthur is all grown up. He reminisces about his childhood with Merlin turning into animals and sings to us all about the lessons he's learned. He loves his wife and his kingdom because there's simply not a more congenial spot for happily ever aftering than in Camelot. Sadly, all good things come to an end as we watch the story of Lancelot, Guinevere, and Mordred unfold. Yet still, there is hope in the end. This is a wonderful fantasy world where the weather is always perfect and Merlin ages backwards. The costumes are sometimes medieval and sometimes look like they came out of the 1960s Cleopatra movie. Just go with it and enjoy the pretty. I have watched this a few times already, and I always enjoy it. Then the songs are stuck in my head for the next few days. Go make yourself a cup of tea and hum along as we watch the royals try to figure out what the simple folk do. It's 179 minutes, rated for all ages. Arthur and the Square Knights of the Round Table is an Australian animated series that ran from 1966 to 1968. This is a wacky Arthurian legend inspired cartoon about the jovial King Arthur and his quirky knights. They must protect Camelot from the conniving hijinks of the Black Knight and Morgane Le Fay. Be careful, Arthur, or Excalibur might be stolen by an octopus. Merlin is there too, with his occasional modern contraptions, and half the time ends up being a victim of his own magical creations. This is fantastically all over the place. With every episode, you never know who might be there or where they might be from. For example, Olaf, the Laughing Dane. Arthur also takes his little queen occasionally to Paris. Where was this in my childhood? Have you ever seen the old Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon? This is very reminiscent of that. I would have loved this as a kid and am even enjoying it now. From what I can tell, there were 39 episodes, all about 8 minutes, rated for all ages. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Next time, we'll be checking out everything from the 1970s. Happy watching.